New striker targets added to the list. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video, and this one is all about the new striker targets that have been added to Chelsea's wish list this summer. There's been new news released today, Tuesday, June 11th, and I want to analyze the players that Chelsea have been linked with, look at the differences in their play, and then go through which player I think would be better suited to join Chelsea this season. So to start things off, this all arose because Benjamin Sesko, who is one of Chelsea's main striker targets this summer, has decided to sign a contract extension with RB Leipzig, his current team. He wanted to have all his business wrapped up before Euro 2024, and while there was a lot of interest in him, there were no formal offers. So that's why he is now unavailable. He's axed from the list, and Chelsea have some new options that they're looking at, being Aston Villa's Jhon Durán and Bournemouth's Dominic Solanke, aka former Chelsea player. By the way, I hope I said Durán's name right because he's Colombian, so I'm reading it the Spanish way. Hopefully that's... But let's get into both of these targets and see what they bring. First off, Durán plays for Aston Villa, and Chelsea have a good relationship with Aston Villa, and they are super heavily interested in Conor Gallagher, so I think that could make for an interesting dynamic as well to see what happens. Do we see some sort of deal between the two clubs happening, a swap deal? I don't know, but they have a good working relationship, so it's a door that's definitely open. Chelsea had registered interest in Durán back in the January transfer window. Obviously, nothing ended up happening, but he allegedly was liking a handful of Chelsea-related tweets. I did try to look into this. I found an account. I don't know if it's his because it's not verified, and now that anybody can be verified, it's very difficult to tell. So I'm not sure if it's his, but if he was liking Chelsea related things, that's pretty wild. He definitely wants to join the club in that case. But yeah, it's crazy. So Durán is 20 years old. He scored 5 goals in the Premier League last season, and he's really highly rated as a very talented youngster, but most of his appearances have come off of the bench since Aston Villa do have Ollie Watkins, who's banging in goals left and right, starting week in, week out. He definitely is a handful for opposition, and he gets his shots off very quickly, but he's still tactically raw. He's just 20 years old, so he would definitely take some molding and guidance and coaching in order to get to his best, similar to a lot of the players that Chelsea have signed. Now, taking a look at the other target, Dominic Solanke, he's kind of on the opposite end of the spectrum. He's 26. He scored 19 goals in the Premier League last season. He's a goal machine, currently playing for Bournemouth, and you know what you're going to get with Solanke as well. Last season, Solanke scored the majority of goals with his right foot, a couple with his head, and just one with his left foot, but he's super clinical in front of goal, and he's a Premier League proven striker. So I think it's really interesting because you do have these two sides. Solanke's kind of on the cusp of the age that Chelsea are looking to sign, but a lot of people have been saying that Chelsea need to sign a more prolific striker instead of a youngster that's going to need time to adjust, because we already have those players in the team. And let's take a look. I have these stats as well just to compare the two a bit further. Obviously Solanke is coming out on top, but the big thing here is that he made way more appearances and had way more minutes, because most of Durán's appearances have come off of the bench. So as we can see, he scored a load of goals, but I think an interesting thing to note is that he has about double the goals per match of Durán, but I don't think that that's like so much higher considering the amount of minutes that Durán had. So if you think Solanke scoring one goal in every 2 games and Durán scored 1 goal in every 4, but he hasn't had nearly as many minutes, pretty interesting stat there. And I think the other thing that really called out to me was the shooting accuracy. There wasn't so much of a difference between the shooting accuracy either, with Durán's being a bit above 41% and Solanke's a bit under 49% as well. So I do think that it's an interesting conversation. It's going to be interesting to see if Chelsea go for either of these players. both of them are super talented, but they're just on opposite ends, and see which one you go with. I think that there's some advantages and disadvantages to each. First off, if you take a look at the Maresca video and the players that we currently have in the attack, I really do feel strongly that Cole Palmer definitely starts and Nkunku definitely starts as well. So that leaves you one, maybe two attacking players left on the pitch depending on the formation that you're using to start. And I really like Nico Jackson. I think that he could perfectly play through the middle, and we can have an Nkunku Jackson Palmer type situation, and then maybe you have somebody that needs to come off the bench or to fill in for those extra games or whatever. And I don't think that Jackson gets enough credit because he had 20 goal contributions last season, and there was so much talk about how many chances he missed, and he did go progressing, and there is a really good striker in there. So I'm kind of two minds here, because I think that we should give Jackson an opportunity. I think that he can be coached, and it was his first season in the Premier League, and he did that. I think he has the ability to go really far and become a really great striker. It was just one season. And if you bring in somebody like Solanke, I think that you're blocking Nico Jackson, and we just brought him in. On the other side, I really love the idea of having Solanke because he's a Premier League proven striker, and I think that he would fit into the system and he would do well, and I think that you're basically guaranteed goals with him. So do you bring in Solanke and maybe see where Jackson fits in, or have Jackson become a bench player or come off of or come in for the cup competitions? Or do you sign somebody like Durán, who is more raw? They're going to be more competing for those two spots, and see who comes out on top. Because the thing with Solanke as well, it's a £65 million release clause, so I do feel like if you trigger that, you are going to be starting him. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Do we need a striker? I think like, if it were up to me, I would give Jackson another season, honestly, and maybe bring somebody in to alleviate, because I think that we're going to be seeing more goals with Nkunku. He's a proven goal scorer. We spent a ton of money on Nkunku as well, and we're just forgetting that he was out injured most of the season. You're going to hope that he's not going to be out injured for all of this season either, so I think that he's definitely going to help contribute to the goals. Cole Palmer is going to contribute to the goals, and then I think you have somebody like a Jackson contributing as well, and those are going to be like your main goal scorer. So I don't necessarily think that we need to splash the cash on another striker. I would personally rather see how we get on, because I do think that there's a lot of promise. So maybe you do sign somebody like Durán, who's a bit more unproven, has the raw ability, and could maybe be molded into this prolific player, if you will. So I think that's an interesting conundrum. So my heart is saying Solanke, my head is saying Durán. Let me know down in the comments who you want to go for, which one you think is the better option. I'm curious, because I'm like very 50-50. I feel like I keep going back and forth. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to drop it a like, sub to the channel as well. Obviously, loads of Chelsea transfer videos coming out and transfer news. Might also cover some of the Euros, but I don't know. I'm kind of just liking focusing on Chelsea, and maybe I'll just enjoy it as a football fan for once. But yeah, let me know if there's anything that you guys want to see. Any interaction is super, super helpful to helping people to find my channel and to sub. So thank you so much for watching this video, for interacting, and all of that. Hope you have a great rest of your day, evening, whatever time you're watching this, and until next time, I'm out. Bye!